out just now?
No, it came out this morning, but basically very much narrows the Voting Rights Act.
Was it considered a win for
a
who?
win for Republicans?
I love it.
Absolutely. But my question...
This is a very good, we can end this news conference right now. I want to read it.
My question
Wow.
for you, Mr. President, is that some Republican governors have not responded in terms of what they're going to do. I guess early voting, for example, in Louisiana.
Republican governors what?
Republican governors.
What about it?
Early voting begins Saturday there, for instance. Should they redraw the map in the next couple of
I
days?
would. I mean, it depends. I mean, some states don't need to redraw, and some do. I mean, I know what the concept of the ruling, I just haven't seen the result. Yeah, I would say generally I would think that they would want to do it. Some are greatly helped, and some, you know, didn't make much difference. Yeah, I would say they would do that. They have time to do it. Yeah, please.
Yeah, we got to talk about this major win. major win that we recently received via the Supreme Court ruling. And my goodness, could you imagine having the Supreme Court flipped to a 6-3 liberal judges, right? Oh my goodness. My goodness. We'd be in some bad shape. You know, we already aren't in the greatest shape with the Supreme Court because we got a couple of them that are like, they're a little shaky. But thank goodness they ruled in our favor when it comes to the VRA, the Voting Rights Act. And there are some Republican states that are absolutely scrambling right now to redistrict. Make sure you guys smack that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I also have a merch link in the description box. So if you want some merch, that link is down there too. All right? And that rhymed. My goodness. Sheesh. Let's hop into it.
Changes nationwide. Meanwhile, in Florida, lawmakers approving new maps, giving Republicans the edge heading into the midterms. Chandler Painter has the details. Good morning, Chandler.
Hey, good morning, LJ. So the Florida House and Senate voting to approve a new congressional map that sets Republicans up to gain 4 more seats in Congress. Florida's lieutenant governor says his state is already preparing for legal and political challenges ahead.
Look, this is not our first rodeo. You know, we know it's not gerrymandered. It's geography plus population. It's going to hold up under the courts. The shift in population in our state has been significant. This is an accurate depiction of what goes on the ground in Florida. Again, geography plus population equals reality.
And of course, this comes as redistricting fights spread nationwide, including in Virginia, where Democrats just approved a new map last week that gives them a 10-1 advantage. And in Louisiana, where just yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Louisiana's congressional map in a major victory for Republicans. The court's 6-3 decision, split along ideological lines, weakens a key provision of the landmark 1965 Voting Rights Act and limits the consideration of race in drawing congressional maps. A decision that could open the door for other states to redraw their maps in ways that could affect elections for years to come. But Democrats are vowing to fight back. Watch.
Today's decision by this illegitimate Supreme Court majority strikes a blow against the Voting Rights Act and is designed to undermine the ability of communities of color all across this country to elect their candidate of choice. But we're not here to step back, we're here to fight back.
And Democrats are also calling for the passage of an updated voting rights bill and Supreme Court reform. But of course, they are currently limited in the minority in both the House and Senate. LJ?
All right. Thanks so much, Chandler. Yeah. So today, the suspect accused of...
So thank goodness they are in the minority, and let's keep them in the minority, please. Let's show up in these midterms. Like, sure, yeah, we have what seems to be an advantage now, okay? Because, and I showed you guys in a previous video, according to recent polls, we're tied. According to the polls, Republicans and Democrats are currently tied in the polls. So we're dead even, and now we have this ruling, which means we can redistrict a bit. So theoretically, we should be on the upswing. And we're still, you know, early, right? So hopefully, you know, Uncle Trump and the administration will get these gas prices down, because that's what everybody's talking about. you know, because it's the economy, stupid. We all know that, which I'm sure he will. Trump hasn't failed me thus far. Sure, there are some things that I may disagree with, but you're always going to disagree with somebody, right? You're never going to agree 100% on anything with anybody. If everybody in a room agrees, then someone is lying. So that's just the way that it is. We're not going to cry over spoiled milk here. For the most part, Trump has lived up to his promises. And the ones that he hasn't lived up to, he's made a concerted effort to attempt to live up to those promises. And people have just stood in the way, including rhinos that we voted for. So I can't blame him for some of the things that he hasn't been able to do that he's promised, because we voted for individuals that are standing in the way of it, i.e. John Thune. Yes, I'm going to keep talking about this bumbling buffoon because he disgusts me. He's up for re-election in 2028 out of South Dakota. Yes, I'm going to keep repeating that until he is gone out of the Senate. Please, out of the Senate. Let's go to Ron DeSantis, because Ron DeSantis just did the darn thing and passed a new map. And Hakeem, he really didn't like it.
We gonna do maximum warfare against Republicans. Florida Republicans, you F around, you gonna find out all this stuff. And you know, what I said was, listen, and he's like, oh, if you do the redistricting, we're gonna take out all your members, we're gonna do all this stuff. And what I said was, go ahead, make my day. You don't think we're gonna... You want to come down here and spend money in Florida? Roll the dice and take your chances, but don't think that you can come down here, issue threats to us, and somehow you're going to make us flinch. That is not happening, and in fact, it did not happen, because as soon as he came out and started doing that last week, Florida legislature turned around and they passed a new map.
I love it. I love it. Shout out to Ron DeSantis, man. Shout out to Ron DeSantis. And there are some rumors that Ron DeSantis may either join Trump's cabinet, Trump's administration, or he could be up for Supreme Court justice role, right? One of the older Republicans stepping away while they are still able to, before any Democrat control, and moving Ron DeSantis in place of one of them. I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be against it. Now, I want to show you guys Florida's new map, okay? So there it is, right there on your screen, right? Looks pretty solid, okay? Most of the districts there are, you know, square. There's not too many weird shapes or anything like that where, like, one district, you know, snakes across the state, you know, it, like, creates this big C-looking shape, or a big lobster-looking shape where you got the district branching off to the left or to the right and then to the left, and then you got like a little tail down here trying to capture some voters. Like, they're, you know, pretty decent shapes. I mean, the worst one is 15, where it kind of wraps down here a little bit, but that's not too bad, right? That's not terrible. That's not terrible. Now, I want to show you the proposed map for Illinois, because of course Democrats, They cry and complain, and so now they're talking about possibly redistricting Illinois more than it already is. And I want to show you Illinois' map. Yeah, you have got to be joking. Like, what is this? Like, it's literally a bunch of districts that start in Chicago, right? You got this district that starts in Chicago and snakes all the way down. This one starts in Chicago, snakes all the way down. Like, that's all it is. Taking a bunch of Chicago and spreading it through the state. Because if you look at the map of Illinois, this is blue. And then, like, there's like a splotch of blue. Is it here or here? And then the rest of the state is red. Illinois is basically a red state. It's more red than it is blue. It's just Chicago overpowers all of this. And so that's what you're seeing here with this proposed map, is using Chicago to, like, look at this. Like, this district starts way up here. You can barely see it, little skinny little stick, and it comes all the way across the state, goes from the right side of the state to the left side of the state, and down the left side Like, what is that? It's the same thing with the one right next to it. Starts on the left side of the state, comes up, and snakes across and up all the way up to Chicago. Like, that is just utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. You got this map, right, versus this one. This should tell you everything you need to know about Democrats. They can't even make decently looking shapes. Like, look at this one. This one in the, I wouldn't even pay attention to this one. Look at this one. Like, what is this? Like, this should let you know Democrats are in trouble. Like, you got to use one city to make an entire state blue, and then the one that you don't, the one district that you, where you don't touch Chicago, you try to touch like these random cities. Like, what is this? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's the same thing that was going on in Illinois, where Democrats were trying to do, or Louisiana, not Illinois. Excuse me. Jeez, we were just talking about Illinois. Louisiana, where you had, you got basically an entirely red state, but Democrats wanted a district, so they took this and shot it straight down through the middle of the state. And you know what this district is a majority of? What race? Yep, you guessed it, black. Shreveport all the way down to Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Like, what kind of district is that, bro? What is this? Matter of fact, this is two districts, District 2 and District 6. Like, what is this, though? Like, that is just absolutely preposterous. If you got to do stuff like this, hang it up. You lost. Change your policies, bro. Change your policies. Like, this is just utterly ridiculous. This isn't even a shape. Like, what? Good news, though. Governor Landry is set to suspend the May 16th primaries to buy the state time to completely redraw its congressional districts ahead of the 2026 elections. So yeah, the primaries have been suspended in Louisiana, and they are going to now redraw this map so that it is completely red. I love it. You know, like my shirt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So great news. To any Democrats, right? If you hear any Democrats crying and complaining, Republicans, they need redistricting, this is unfair. How is this fair? Dear Democrats whining about democracy, please explain to America how out of 21 congressional seats representing the 6 New England states, there are 0 Republican representatives. Even though 40% of the electorate are registered Republicans and 48% in New Hampshire alone. This ain't gerrymandering? Explain this. Please explain this. No Republican, not a single one. Not a single one. We can throw this on the screen as well. Not a single Republican. 42%, 38%, 32, 42, 48, 46, 46, 42, 36. You mean to tell me there's no Republican representation? But Democrats will have you believing that we started this. Republicans started it. Nah, F that. In reality, it was Democrats. They did it a long time ago. Problem is, we used to have a bunch of rhino Republicans that basically just did whatever Democrats wanted. They were puppets, right? And now we're getting America First Republicans in. We still got some rhinos in there that we need to get rid of, i.e. John Thune. We need to vote him out in 2028 in South Dakota. But now we're actually getting some Republicans with a spine, and they're doing something about it. So now Democrats got a fight on their hands. Up next was Alabama. The governor of Alabama at first wasn't going to redistrict, and she got eviscerated, to say the least. She got eviscerated online, and now Alabama Governor Kay Ivey reverses course and will call a special session for a new congressional map that could change the state to either a 6-1 or 7-0 GOP majority. I love it. Let's make it a 7-0. Let's pad the stats a little bit more, right? Let's pad it just a tad bit more. I won't complain about that at all. And speaking of all of this great news, another tidbit of great news is something that I've been talking about for quite some time. And it's this.
Migration to the Sunshine State may be an indicator of how seats can shift after the 2030 census. The latest data shows the U.S. population grew by more than 10 million people between 2020 and 2025, with nearly 3/4 concentrated in the South. States like Georgia, Arizona, and the Carolinas are seeing the biggest gains, with Texas alone adding more than 2.5 million people.
It's really up for grabs. There's no permanent majority that's going to come out of this, but the initial advantage is going to be to the Republicans. The question is going to be, can they keep it over the course of the decade?
California and New York, both seeing population declines, could lose representation. Factors like immigration and economic policy could play a major role in where Americans move and how political power is ultimately redrawn. And for now, redrawn maps will likely face legal troubles from Democrats who have signaled counter moves, like looking at redistricting in states of Illinois and New York. Brett?
Yeah. They're going to have some trouble with that Illinois map. They're going to have some trouble explaining that one. My goodness. But, yeah, they're going to, I mean, not only do they have trouble now with the VRA being eviscerated, but come the census, they're in trouble as well. You heard that. 2.5 million people moving to Texas alone. You got states like New York and Cali losing the most amount of people, while Republican states are gaining massive numbers of people. How many congressional seats will that be? Doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. I'm seeing people move out of move out of blue states all the time. Now, I hope those people learn their lesson, and once they move to those red states, they vote red and not blue like they were doing before. But common sense is no longer common, so we could be in a little bit of trouble there, but we shall see. We shall see. Regardless, these big blue states are losing seats, so they're going to be in trouble there as well. And I don't see a way out of this for them other than them going all out in these midterms in 2028, trying to retake office and then making sure that every single illegal becomes a legal citizen here in the United States, and that being their way back to power somehow, some kind of way. Now, I think that's a long shot, an absolutely long shot, but that's their only shot. They've got no other legitimate chance to retake control. Not for a long time, at least. Not for a very, very long time. But I just wanted to bring you guys that fantastic news. Y'all get in the comments and let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this. Should every red state redistrict? What do you think? Let me know. Peace and love. I'm out.